The only reason I would focus on the other team is if I was learning their play styles so I could try to outplay them. I would play my own game. There are times where I would focus on other players and I'd be like, well, how are these players playing so well? And it would irritate me, so I would try to duplicate that, but it ended up not working in my favor because I spent so much time trying to duplicate what they're doing instead of, perfecting my play style on my own.
Transmission received. Authorization granted. Welcome to the video.
What's up, dreamers? Hope you're having a fantastic day or had a fantastic day, depending on where you are in the world. Just had to fix my camera, so welcome to my hand. And I have to let you know, you are awesome. We're gonna fix this again. Welcome to Driving and Vibing. What is the vibe today? What do we want to talk about today? Any suggestions? Okay, fine. I'll come up with the idea. I want to talk about playing your own game. Focusing on yourself while playing your game, whether it is actually in game or in life, not worrying about what other people are doing, and kind of tips and tricks on like what you can do in regard to that. We're gonna go back. Finally, I had some nice little video effects. 15 years earlier. We're gonna go back to when I was in high school and kind of my mindset that I was in, and why I believe and know that it negatively impacted my overall well-being and my gaming performance. So in high school, which this is a common theme from what I understand, kind of what I lived and what I still hear about nowadays, is that in high schoolers, young kids, the media kind of builds on this and makes the society this way. Younger kids, they care a lot about what everybody thinks of them, right? A lot of people do. Like the general population cares about what people think of them. Everybody does. It's like built, it's ingrained into us now. But in high school, it really, really, truly matters. It's the most important thing in the world. And this is something that could, if you are so devoured by what other people think of you, you could be missing the big picture, which is yourself. You could be not even focusing on yourself in regard to, your goals, aspirations, what you want to actually do or achieve, who you want to hang out with. I mean, all of this can be altered because of you focusing on other people and where they are, what they're doing, and how quickly they're growing, whatever it may be. And this could be problematic, right? As obviously, as I just explained, it could be a big setback. It could hold you back for a while. You got to go through and not care what people think about you specifically, because, and I'm gonna put high school as an example. I kind of knew this going through high school, but a large majority, I would say 90% of my class, I have not seen since high school. I have not seen them since high school. I knew that I probably wasn't going to see most of them, or any. I knew I probably wasn't going to go to any of my class reunions. I mean, I may end up going. I don't know. I don't really have any interest in going. Not that I don't like the people I went to school with. It's just, life changes. And it's hard to see in that particular moment, but because you're not going to be seeing anybody, and you can think about this regardless of where you are in your life, but because people come and go so often, what people think in high school is kind of irrelevant. Not only that, and you got to put it into perspective that everybody's life is different. Everybody's in a different part of their life, regardless of their age. I was gonna bring age up anyway, but everybody's at a different part of their life. So where somebody is in their life, in high school or out of high school, in college, or how successful they've become immediately out of high school, whatever it may be, that is irrelevant, and it doesn't negatively or positively impact you. I mean, it's just there. Like, it's good knowledge. Like, there used to be some kids in high school that were making loads of money. They had jobs, and there was this one kid that I remember started his own business right out of it, and he was making a ton of money. And I was like, wow. I was kind of like jealous, right? And I didn't use that as a motivating factor whatsoever, but I would compare because my mindset was not the greatest, and I would always, I wouldn't always, but I would be like, when I saw him or talked to him, I'd be like, wow, he has his own business, and I'm over here doing whatever it was I was doing, which back then wasn't the most interesting stuff. We're gonna keep that one a secret for now. But when you start to care a little bit too much, and this goes for in-game as well, so I'm gonna hop off the high school situation here and life situation, but in-game, when you care a lot about what people are doing in game, and you're always focused on trying to play like somebody else, and it may not be your kind of, what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? How you play the game. There's a word for that. Oh my goodness, I need somebody to help me. But if you're focused on somebody else or other players who are playing well, right? Let's say you're competing, and you're focused on other players playing well, and you're starting to try to adapt what they're doing, but it's not in the realm of your comfort zone of playing that game. It's not really your position that you play, whatever it may be. That could negatively impact your game overall, because now you're trying to focus on something that's not even you, right? And it could negatively impact your team as well. Focusing on other players is good if you're learning from them, right? If you're trying to learn and combat them, like the opposite team, the opposing team. I would try to learn the styles. That's what I was looking for, their play styles. The only reason I would focus on the other team is if I was learning their play styles so I could try to outplay them. I would play my own game. There are times where I would focus on other players, and I'd be like, well, how are these players playing so well? And it would irritate me, so I would try to duplicate that, but it ended up not working in my favor because I spent so much time trying to duplicate what they're doing instead of perfecting my play style on my own. And that is something that could, like, as you can see there, just from that example, the way it pans out is that you're so heavily focused, and it drives frustration, right? You're so heavily focused on something that isn't really you, and it kind of negates the fact that you have your own skill set. So we have to be mindful, especially if you're competing and you want to advance your career in gaming, if you want to be a good streamer, you got to try to focus on yourself. I think that's very important. That goes for high school, like I said, just in general. I could go for work as well. I know work is a big thing where everybody's always competing in their workplace to try to get promotions and this and that, but if you're focused and you're so concerned about what other people are doing, this is life in general. If you're so concerned about what other people are doing, it's going to be so much harder for you to get your own work done. And it's just gonna drive you crazy. Like you're just gonna get frustrated, and then your work ethic might start suffering, and that person that you were focusing so heavily on is gonna get promoted or maybe will get promoted because you're just not really focusing on you, right? You are the most important person. Without you, there is no other people, right? I mean, that's kind of how it is. So I wanted to talk about I went through all this. I let it impact me negatively, where people were in their life and what they were doing, and I don't think I really should have done that. I feel like that is kind of how social media and all of this other stuff is kind of ingraining it into us, and I don't really appreciate that, honestly. Anyway, there's that. So if you like what you heard, hit that like button, greatly helps out the channel. Hit that subscribe button. If you have any tips of your own, I'd love to hear them in the comments. If you have any suggestions too, I would love to make some videos. reach out with some suggestions on any topics you would like to hear, and we'll get those videos made. All right, later, dreamers.